All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at. We partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, singing, all that shit, dog. We sweating, getting wet, all that.
All right, welcome to the 151st episode of the Drinking Partners podcast. Yes, this is our Ichiro Suzuki podcast because I said both names and most people don't. But I like to think that we are like Ichiro in this podcast thing because we came over from stand-up. We was killing it there like he was in Japan. Got into the majors with the podcast, and we're still doing our thing. And we're still here. We're still around.
Throwing them gyro balls.
I don't want to have to pause you this early, but I kind of feel like I do have to pause you this early. I generally don't have to pause day when I do the athlete of the day, but
the Euro balls. So
okay, and he just took it much further. I am half of the hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. 151 episodes, man. We've been asking you. We're going to continue to ask you. Please hop on iTunes, rate and review, man. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well. So please hop on iTunes, rate and review.
Listen, you love us. When you see us in public, you tell us you love us. We're going to say this every time we do an episode. Now, at the click of a button, just tell the internet. Just click and tell them, hey, we love the Drinking Partners review. Let us know what you like about us, what you liked about episodes, what you'd like to see change, who you would like to see on the podcast. Yeah. You know, we do
take
it for
suggestions.
The people. We take suggestions, but we do take compliments like this one here from, well, it's titled Much Respect, and it's by, I'm assuming the name is Jiggaman LL. So I thought Jiggamantle, but then I'm like, no. I'm like, no. So I don't know what a blend of Jiggaman and LL looks like, what the song sounds like, or why the fuck somebody out there named themselves
Jiggamantle.
Jiggaman.
That's his government name. He just had to ride with it.
LL. He was probably licking his lips while he typed this review. Jiggaman LL wrote Much Respect. Two unique brothers influencing the culture in a unique way, and they're always bringing in colorful guests. Congrats on the future 100 episodes. So thank you, LL.
Yeah.
Just get you some bliss decks. All right?
Said colorful guests. We do bring diversity into the podcast world.
There's diversity and color on the podcast when it's just me and Dave.
We are the diversity. Thank you. Yeah,
man. But I'm excited about today. I think we both are coming off really cool nights. Like you had your annual Christmas party.
Yeah.
It's dope. I'm sorry I missed that, but I had my boy was in town from Cleveland, so I got to hang out with a Cleveland native. Shout out to my boy Durio, man. Like I ain't got to hang out with him in a long time.
Nice,
He's one of my real good friends in high school. He was out here for some, unfortunate circumstance, but things are looking up, and we had a good time, man. Went down to I forget what the fuck this shit's called. Pretty Heights or whatever. It's like a new spot in the strip.
Yeah.
Nice spot. Had a good time, man. Like, so new beginnings because we're heading into the new year and we got some new good shit happening, man.
Yeah,
like we bringing our shit back to the city. So we gonna be, we're giving us we're giving y'all the same quality of shows, but we're now back in the city. We're gonna be at Arcade Comedy Theater on January 20th, and as always, gonna be at Comtra on the last Saturday of the month.
Yeah,
so looking forward to 2018.
January 27th down at Comtra, and like you said, man, we back downtown at Arcade Comedy.
Yep.
It's BYOB as always, and we will have a beer sponsor coming out and providing some free booze or whatever. So make sure you check out links for those tickets and whatnot. Very excited for 2018.
Very, very, very excited, man. I just want to get the fuck out of 2017. I don't know of anyone who's had a good year. Like,
it's been a roller coaster like a motherfucker, man. Like as soon as things is going well, they kind of take a left, and then we've been fortunate enough to be able to roll with the punches, man. This year,
you got to maintain, but goddamn.
Yeah. 2018 is looking. we hoping it's going to get a little bit more of these kinks out, man. Because 2016, it was crazy because 2016 was wildly shitty for the world.
Yeah,
but it was like decent. We had
it
was
not shitty for the world. The Cavs won the fucking championship,
and the country paid for it. Karma balanced out at the end of the year. Like,
Yeah, we did win a chip, and then the Browns went immediately 0-16. Well, they ain't 0-16 yet, but everyone's predicting 0-16 this year. So
yeah, I mean, the 16 was wild as shit because everybody that was on top just fell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, anytime you was in the lead, they fell at the end of it, you know? Like, had Hillary Clinton out there making victory laps and shit in October, and then, he got hit with that left, like, so.
Yeah, it was funny watching the world watch that. they kept giving you updates and just kept winning other states.
True.
Every household was confused as fuck. Like, what?
Yeah, like, I mean, when those blue states start turning red, motherfuckers like, whoa, Michigan? Like, how'd you?
That's all of 2017. Everything blue has turned red 2017.
Yeah,
you like something, it ain't good for you no more.
Yeah, we thought 2016 was bad. 2017 came in with even more fucking shitty shit, and now we're looking at 2018 and maybe turn some of that around. We got an election next year, so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, changing these motherfucking houses over, maybe getting this motherfucker out of the office, him and his side crony, get both of them motherfuckers out of the house, get some new representatives in there, your Senate, your Congress, man, get out there and vote, man, like, and change these houses over, man, get some power back to the people, and make 2018 a year that, we go out there and make a difference,
Yeah, man, we're gonna have some good political guests on in 2018 too, so, make sure to look out for that.
Yeah, we got Fetterman coming in.
We got Fetterman coming back
to start off the 2018.
Just to jump it off, we do got to just to jump it off, and it only goes up from there. So, we have another returning guest here today. As y'all, if you're watching the live stream, you can see her. She's been over here trying to prepare. She don't know what I'm gonna say about her, but this is family. You know what I mean? She's the only person I know that's listened to every podcast. Like, she's listened to every episode. And that's why she's here. Like, she could come anytime.
Yeah.
Because she puts in the work. Like, the great descriptions y'all read, they come from her. And she has her own literary works that she's been working on. So we have author and family of the cast, Cat Bruno, in the building. Say what up to the people.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, she gonna come with some shit.
Yo, again, this is the second time. This is the second wife who we had on. I mean, two Kaz or whatever. Both of them tried to front for the Kaz. Ain't nobody.
Milky got loose real quick though. She tried to come in meek, and then she just got real loose.
True.
Like that. Like,
we know you.
We gonna loosen Cat up here. Try to front.
Truth. Best-selling author, Amazon, out there killing it and shit, you got your fourth book out, you
4 books in now.
4 books deep, we gonna talk about that or whatever. We ain't got your last one here, but we just got your third, right?
My second.
Your second.
Oh, so you went back, you doubled back. Double back. You supposed to, he's supposed to know just by looking at the cover?
I guess not.
All right, so I'm gonna move on from that. So hold on. We brought you in before, and at that point was that your third release?
Yeah, it was my third.
Okay.
Episode 99. So
what do you, when you look at being an author, how do you judge growth? Like, how do you judge that I excel going from this book to the next? Like, because you write fantasy, so like with fantasy with me, all the shit is all visual.
Yeah, I mean, I think
words.
I think that there's 2 ways I can do it. I can do it, from my perspective, which is, are my stories getting better? Is my writing improving? How long am I more efficient when I'm writing? Things like that, and then I can also look at it from like a reader's perspective. Are people still staying with the series? Are they, reading and reviewing, the books? And in this 4th book, it's gotten some good feedback. So I'm happy about that. I think that the last 2 books they're really tied together. The story is, they're 2 separate books, but the story is a really, really a continuous one. So I think the last 2 have definitely been pretty well received, and I'm happy with that.
You get fan mail and shit, like it's crazy, man.
This is another point of contention.
It's dope. Like,
is it from the pen? Some dude from jail, like, yo.
Not
book's
yet.
good as fuck, B.
She had a dude hit her up like, yo, I'm about to die. Before I die, I want to make sure I read all your books. When's the next one coming out? Like, she's getting motherfuckers, got her on like the bucket list. Like, it's wow. She got,
okay, okay, fam. Let me dap my boy Day up his wifey bucket listable. You feel me? Like, Wife, if you're listening, you was on my
Bucket list.
bucket list before I got you. Wife.
Bucket list Bay, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, you bucket listable, man. That's what's up.
Yo, can we open these trogs up real quick? I don't know if you guys noticed or whatever, this big ass box that's sitting here. We typically don't have big ass fucking packages, but we got these fucking boxes from Trogs with our names on it.
Yeah, which is scary. Like, I don't know, know, in this country, I don't know, man. You getting random boxes and shit. Like,
it's true. We hope they enjoyed our trip out there. I mean,
have to let Day open his first.
Yeah, this is crazy. If you guys don't know, I don't know how you don't know, but we were out there this past summer. Went out there with Epicast, Pittsburgh, Kraft. We had we were out there with a bunch of folks. Had a nice trip. They showed us love. We interviewed the owners. They sent us back with some love. Had a great time out there, and they sent us some gifts out here.
Yeah, they showed wild love when we was out there. And they was continuing to love.
Mad Elf Grand Cru. I don't even know.
They sent us that Max B, the Grand Cru, baby.
The 11%. This is a hurt piece.
The wave.
Ooh, with the fancy bottle top.
Yeah,
that's how you know it's official.
No, shout out to Trogs for this. This is like, y'all understand, we are surprised. Like, this was a surprise.
Hell yeah. Oh, we got a can.
We had boxes. I thought he was kicking us out. I thought he was like, yo, I ain't recording this shit no more. I'm like, damn, man, you couldn't text me? I done drove all the way here.
Oh, Blizzard of Hops. I'm crushing that now. That's a now piece. I don't know if you guys have had that Blizzard of Hops, man. It is a nice, hazy fucking juice bomb. It's delicious, and I'm going to crack that immediately.
Whatever type of glass. They sent us a glass, which is dope.
Oh, we got a glass? Oh, yeah, so now we got something to pour it in.
Yeah, it's got to be a glass, because that motherfucker was packaged hard as hell. God damn.
I'm still opening it.
Yeah. Shout out to Trogs. This is a fest. I'm going to be the only one at the family Christmas party drinking beer that was sent to me. I'm going to be, look, you know how snobby I'm going to be at the Christmas party this year? I'm going to be a straight dickhead. Hey, all y'all beneath me. What y'all getting bottles from the state store? You had to go to the distributor.
Oh, you walk for your shit?
I don't know. I'm trying to see if I got one of them cans sitting there.
Oh yeah, there's got to be in there something in there, man. Yeah, there's a lot of packaging.
Yeah, nah. Shout out to the person who put the package together. Like, not even just Trogs for sending it, but somebody had to package that up.
I feel like this is an ageable bottle. Is this an ageable thing that we do? I mean, it's a dark, and you know, Mad Elf is pretty dark. I mean, like, I might crack that a little later, another date. That's all. That's fancy as shit. I love getting fancy beer.
Yeah, don't drop that. Don't break that bottle, Cat. I said that for a day.
5 or 6 people.
Like 5 or 6 people?
Yeah,
nah, this me, bro. It's all me. It's that Drake.
As soon as y'all cast me in a rap video, I'm pouring it on somebody.
Okay. Now chill. You got wife still on the couch, nigga. We just sidetracked a little bit. Well, she's still on the couch. But if she's a wonderful wife, she'll find a chick for you to pour on.
So yeah, I mean,
I don't know about that.
You owe him that. You bucket listables me had the nerve to send his bucket list to your house. Like, what the fuck?
It's to my email.
We had well, you checked your email at home.
Oh, that is delicious.
It was on y'all Wi-Fi. So how difficult is it to like write a series of books? Like, how difficult is it to have, like you said, the middle two, the second and third, really the storyline was very linear.
The third and fourth, yeah.
The third and fourth. So you said, okay, so the last one and this one.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you know, like, if it's going to be that from book to book? How do you keep that continuity going?
Well, I mean, this series, that's going to be a 5-book series. I haven't started writing the 5th book yet, but excuse me. It was pretty easy just because the first 2, it's the story of the mother. The 3rd and 4th book are the story of the daughter. So to keep it rolling was pretty simple, just because it was kind of age based, like kind of just following the daughter's aging. So that kind of helps propel the story along. You just kind of go with like a natural maturing process with it. I do think the 5th book, which is probably why, sorry fans, I haven't actually started writing it yet. And normally I would have already started by now, is just because it's kind of the conclusion. It's going to wrap everything up. And, it's I've been working with these characters for about 8 years now, so I'm sort of hesitant to even finish that last book.
Hurt when you gotta kill one of them?
Oh, it definitely does.
Hurts you?
I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I mean, there have been a few deaths that that definitely I was like, I really don't want to do this. But I kind of have to.
That was my follow up.
Yeah,
so like, you come in the room at night.
Yo, I got the. I mean, spoilers or whatever. But like, I got to had a little input on how one of them got off.
Okay.
So, like, she was like, I need to.
We
I was
a
like,
team,
yo,
baby.
Yeah, she's like, I need somebody off. I'm like, yeah, you came to the. Yo,
he likes it. He likes it very bloody. He definitely makes my deaths way more violent.
Don't say that. I gotta pause that.
No, we ain't Newport out here. No, it's crazy. So tell us about what the book's about, because like it's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's for me, like looking, from the outside looking in or whatever. It's like it's wild. You got some Game of Thrones, like crazy ass, like back and forth. It's like set in olden days and shit. But like it has a very like comic book feel to it, where like these are very strong female forward. Role model type like characters or whatever. They got these badass power sets and shit. They be doing all this kind of mage shit and sword fights with big motherfuckers with beards and orcs, and like it's crazy as fuck. Like, but like when
I
you
don't even know what an orc is. Yeah. I thought it was a vacuum cleaner.
I don't think he knows what an orc is either, because there really aren't any orcs.
Oh, the orc man, that's pest
maybe
control.
I'll put one in. That's a good suggestion. I'll put an orc in the next one just for you.
One call destroys them all. Yeah, call the Orkin Man. Yeah, that's who it was. All right. We watched a lot of TV growing up, man. You just remember a lot of commercials.
But like, it's not like when you hear like epic sci-fi fantasy, you think like fucking who's them troll motherfuckers that's looking for the ring. The Ring.
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings and shit like that.
I've never seen that.
And it's like, it's kind of, it has those elements of that or whatever, but it's way more badass. Like, so like, tell us what the story is about and like, how the two, kind of like diverge, from the first two and the second two.
Well, I mean, I think at heart, my books are very traditional fantasy. And I only say that because, I mean, they're, fantasy is very standard. It's always kind of good versus evil at the base of it, or dark versus light, and then every kind of author takes their own approach to that. So I don't try to fix the fantasy wheel, so to speak. Like, I stay true to the tropes and the themes and the storylines, but I do it in my own way. And my own way is to, I mean, it's really important to me to have really strong female characters, number one, and I try to give them like a modern edge, because so you're writing, the writing style is traditional fantasy, which is kind of like an old English type of language. It's definitely not the way I would speak or anyone would speak today, but the writing kind of stays true to that older kind of old-fashioned language. But at the same time, I'm trying to create females who aren't, wouldn't have been a typical female, say, in 200-300 years ago.
Yeah.
So you kind of play with that kind of almost contradiction, but not really.
Because say something crazy.
Yeah. And I thought, I was like, I don't know.
He had to. I stopped myself from saying something crazy. Look, like every man listening to this podcast knows the look, because you be like.
Like, shut up. And I don't ever pause on this podcast, but I forgot who I was like. It's wild, man, because I checked myself. I think 151 episodes.
Picked up like, what the fuck he about to? I was ready to go in for. You see, like Dennis Rodman after his man shoot, go in for the rebound. Like, I was ready to box out and assist.
But that's wild. You caught that shit too, because I was right on the cusp. And I was like, yeah, nah. Let me sit back real quick.
Now, how often does that happen? Where like, so can you insert like your feeling into this? Like, because I feel like if I was an author and I was killing people in my books, I'd be killing people like every time me and wifey argue. Like every time we argue, somebody got to go. And it'd be like a character with some similarity to it too. Like, yeah, you don't like to clean up when I come home? All right. In this scene, she didn't clean the hut. Like, hey, fucking being petty and shit.
That's crazy that you say that. So I don't do it in my fantasy books. However, when this book was with the editor, when my fourth book was with the editor, which is kind of when when I take a break from that book and work on cover design or, marketing or web design or anything else that goes along with it. But this time, while I was waiting for my fourth book to come back to me, I actually started writing another book that's completely unrelated to the fantasy genre. So I'm writing it under a pen name, and it's a modern book. It's not fantasy. It's more like a femme fatale murder mystery, and it's definitely like it's. I would say that's the book where I take out my like real life aggressions.
You write
like
your own Snapped?
Yeah, like
So
it's
I'm gonna need
for sure.
I'm gonna need early edits.
No,
on this.
that's
I need to.
That's one book he won't be reading. No.
They go come home and see like pens disheveled on the desk, get wild nervous, like whoa.
I need to know how I'm gonna die. Like,
Yeah,
You been writing today?
true.
What you been writing about?
yeah. So that's why I'm keeping that one under a pen name that is held very closely to my chest. But yeah, so that one's where I kind of get to explore a whole different side of writing and a side of me and characters. It's way different, but I actually am kind of looking forward to getting back to that one because it's a lot of fun to do something totally different.
And this is your first venture into that realm.
Yeah,
as far as being an author.
Yeah.
So your introduction to writing, like, have you always just been thinking I'm gonna write fantasy or?
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, I went to college for writing. I did a lot of like poetry and nonfiction writing in college. I didn't really think that I had the attention span to do fiction, but I was always, ever since I was a kid, fantasy was the genre that I read. If I was a huge reader, would pick up, I loved going to the bookstores and getting like the thickest, fattest fantasy book I could. Just
Hey, yo.
I feel like you're gonna pause everything. I just paused myself, I guess.
Here's what has happened. Day has come down closer to my level with facial hair. So now we on the same wavelength. If you watching the live stream, Day's face is damn near butt naked. So I for the first time, 151 episodes in, I got more facial hair than this shit. But now, for some reason, we got this synergy happening.
Yeah.
So everything we like clicking like. You rolled that thickest and fattest. Thickest
And
fat. I was like, hold on. What the Where's she going with this?
In my fantasies.
Like, okay.
Oh man.
So we know what genre she going after this murder mystery. She gonna be writing Zane
Let me
books.
find out she already got a couple pen names.
Yeah.
Right?
Hold on. So for the listeners who aren't, what is a pen name for those who don't
So
know?
a pen name is just, I write fantasy under my real name. A pen name is a name that, some authors do this. Stephen King did it for one, but like, so if you're writing in a different genre, and not all authors do this, but the two books are going to be so different, and the two genres that I'm writing in are so different that I just didn't want, like, Cap Bruno's a fantasy writer. Like my pen name is, I just kind of want to do it, and it's kind of more, it's a mystery, so it's just a guarded and secretive and kind of just a pen name. You're not going to know that person's real identity, so to speak.
Yeah, they do it like in music or whatever. If an artist does something wildly different from their, because they were talking like Kanye was talking about how he was going to release 808 underneath. Because that was not. I
actually like 808s, but I just feel like I guess this is why you do it. Your core fan base
is like
they're just going to jump in regardless, and then all of a sudden they listen like, what the fuck is this emotional shit, Kanye? Like, what the fuck?
You got to put a precursor, like you got to let folks know, like this ain't, like this is my artistic, on side ventures or whatever.
And I guess with a book, like how many pages you got to be in before you realize, wait a minute, this ain't no fucking
True. As soon as the car pull up, like. You're like, a car? What the fuck?
As soon as you only see a hear ye. Like, you be like, this motherfucker said, what up? Hold on. Like, what kind of book is this?
True.
Now you're going to get a whole new set of fan letters.
True. Is this the same motherfucker that, like, hold on, it's the name? Like,
yo, that dude would be mad as hell. The dude that said, you should release this murder mystery first. Elongate that man's life.
So yeah, I mean, so the first book, you got both the books they have have strong female leads, a lot of fantasy, a lot of death and action and backstabbing and what I mean, like twists and turns and whatnot. What separates the first and the second? Like not the first and the second, but like the first two from the second two.
The first two kind of go together. They're definitely like the first one's slower paced. It's world building. It's getting to know the characters. The second one is the protagonist goes through like finds out a lot of information at the end of the first book that kind of completely changes her perspective. So the second book, which is the one I have here, it's a lot darker. The writing's darker. She's a lot more jaded. She went from being like basically a college student of some sort, kind of protected and just doing her thing to like shit, I've got fantasy has a lot of mythology in it and gods and things like that. And she found out that, this dark god has kind of been watching her since she was a child and, set his mark on her. And she's like, fuck, what am I going to do now? And she tries to escape and she tries to run. And then that doesn't really happen. But so it's her trying to break away. It's a lot of free will versus choice, with some kind of made up mythology thrown in.
So, like, do you always have these larger themes behind just the... Because, like, for me, not growing up being in fantasy, the only thing I saw fantasy, I guess, was Zelda. Was that fantasy?
Yeah,
I never even played that shit. Yeah. So, like, my thought of fantasy is swords, dragons, and sparkly shit.
See how he says swords? That's how you say it.
No, you don't say that.
Oh, wait. I see everything I'm saying is
no, but I say it too. I say swords and like she makes fun of. She's like, there's a W in that bitch. I say swords and like they made the whole house make fun of me. Like her, me. Like I get.
That's because they spell their shit PSORD. You got a sword.
They're like sword. They're like sword. I'm like, there's a W. You can't just.
You gotta have a sword because it's.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Like you got. It's a motherfucking.
Yo, maybe shit cut low, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, you are wrong. Definitely wrong. We got Buzzy to edit this shit.
151 episodes. We agreed on some shit. That's wild.
I'm bringing you two together. That's lovely.
But so I think so. A lot of, I guess, apprehension for individuals who don't necessarily read fantasy would be, all right, I'm just about to hear or read a bunch of crazy shit. But it seems like there are these larger themes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, in fantasy, there's mythology and gods and, but at the same time, like, I try to stay true to, like, really interesting character development. Like my main character, gets involved with the wrong guy, basically, at the end of it, who, a lot of women can relate to that at some point in their lives, and of course...
one of us, you with the wrong guy?
Yeah, it is.
So, you throw that in, and you just add, like, sword fighting and magic and things like that to it.
About when it happens.
Right, yeah. So, and in the third and the fourth book being the one that just came out, it's a young girl. She's, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, those kind of years of her life where all of a sudden she has a lot more control of her power. She's definitely more like a superhero character. I kind of call her like the dark Wonder Woman. And she's a 20-year-old who can kick anyone's ass, basically. Her father was a god. So, and she's like, but she's half mortal. So she's like, it's self-discovery. It's where do I fit in the world? In a fantasy realm, but at the same time, I try to make characters that a reader can relate to. You're not going to just kind of relate to someone that's can pull out a sword and stab someone, but you could relate to a woman who's like, I don't know if I should pick this guy or that guy, or I don't know if this is the career path I should take, or this is the career path that I should take, or and
So say that like I mean like because I didn't get into the whole fantasy thing or whatever until we started dating. And then, like, she made me watch Game of Thrones and shit. That was like I don't
even see that as fantasy.
Yeah, I mean,
even
it was
dragon.
It is. I was about to say, there's a whole ass dragon.
No, Game of Thrones. That's what I think a lot of people, and I applaud HBO. And I mean, I've been a George R.R. Martin fan for probably 20 years. So I mean, the fact that that's what's interesting. Like, Game of Thrones is very traditional fantasy. He creates a different world. There's magic, there's mythology, but like you're just so taken with the characters in the story that you don't even realize that it is really traditional. It's traditional epic fantasy.
That's
like
crazy.
Like,
like,
you can relate to.
I kind of can't watch Game of Thrones no more. Like, I feel like I haven't been true to myself. But it does. It fucking suckers you in. You don't even realize that you just saw a dragon take down a whole fucking. Like, you like, how did they even build this wall? It's cold as fuck. The dragon, this dragon drowned. He got hit with a. Oh man, fuck! It's fantasy.
It is. It's. I mean, you can't get more traditional fantasy than his books. You
but
really
I think
can't.
what you can do, and I guess this is what you were saying, is it like for me, I'm looking at Game of Thrones, and I'm very intrigued by how the decision making process in that world is. Like what these motivations, these different kind of people who have different motivations, and I'm assuming in the fantasy books that you write, it's the same sort of thing. Like
I mean, you want to explore your characters, you want to try to get inside their heads and try to figure out. I mean, because you're creating them, but at the same time, I mean, I can't speak for George R.R. Martin, but I can speak for myself, and I assume that a lot of writers feel the same way. Like when you're writing and you've got these characters that you created. But a lot of times, like I'll be at my computer, especially in the fourth book. Something happened in the fourth book where I was just, doing my normal thing. I'm sitting on the couch on my laptop writing, and this huge plot twist kind of just developed without any. I didn't know it was coming. I didn't expect it to come, but I had this huge betrayal, and I just kept typing, and it was one of the most important parts of the book. I didn't plan for it, and so that's what I mean. You create these characters, but at the same time, they kind of go places you don't expect. And that's always like super, super interesting and exciting because I'm like, it surprises even me who, kind of, and I would imagine that, like George R.R. Martin is the same thing. Like he writes like Tyrion, for example, and who's this character that is really just gone all over the place, geographically and like has just his motivations. So I think that's what's really exciting, that you can be surprised by something you created.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because like I'll come home, she'll be like, "Guess what happened today?" And I'm like, "What? Like, aren't you writing this? Like, don't you know? Yeah, I mean, like, what's happening?" Like,
so it's just developing as you're writing. So you're just,
absolutely.
So is that how
like free thought, or what do you call that? Like the flow state, is that what it is? Buzzy with the clutch, with the alley oop, the flow state. You know what I mean?
So then is that how, because I've always wondered, like an author, how do you get so much detail into or on paper to where I'm reading and I'm seeing and visualizing everything? So are you just writing detail, and then as you write detail, you're like, all right, so this would be what I see, like with this happening? Is that how you do with the characters? Like, all right, based on the past things that I've written, he's presented with this or she's presented with this. This type of person would do this. Or do you have like a storyline developed for each character that you somehow try to cross-weave with the other characters?
Yeah, so again, I can just say how I do it. Like I have my characters in the last two books. There are two main characters. There's a male character, which I feel like I don't give him enough interview room because he's a very important. He's a very important character. I mean, he doesn't get as much page space as my female protagonist, but he's an extremely important character, and that's, they do end up eventually kind of weave together. So he's got his path and she has her path, and then their kind of paths cross. And I knew their paths were going to cross. But the way they kind of get there. So I'll just, be writing a scene and, kind of eventually know where I want the scene to end. And, they get there. And as far as detail, Ed, like, I don't know. For a fight scene, for example, I'm just writing it and I'm kind of picturing it in my head and just like a sword to the neck or a sword to the side, or there's bow and arrows, of course. So things like that. And then fire and storms. The male character is a big he's a storm mage, so he can control the skies. So that's been fun because he's
control the sky.
Yeah, he's kind of
Storm.
Yeah, he is kind of like a dude storm actually. So he can control the skies.
Which Storm is the one that can control the weather.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck she could
Storm.
do. I thought she could just make it rain. She was like a stripper.
She can.
No, that's Wheezy.
That's she's a stripper. Like I don't be into like I grew up, man. It was sports and sports. Like I didn't, cause this shit like, and I'm still like that to this day. Where if I'm looking at some shit and it just don't make sense, I'm like, nah, man, I can't really invest in it. And that's why I'm so surprised that I got into Game of Thrones, but a lot of the shit makes sense. And so with your books, like if you can create that to where motherfuckers like, that don't make sense, but I'm with it. I understand it. Like I get it. Like, okay, so they was fighting, and then he made a hurricane happen, which is a natural thing.
Yeah, I mean, you figure naturally a hurricane would happen in this situation. I mean, what else you gonna do?
What else you gonna do? Yeah. You control the skies, even though Day doesn't.
Like,
Day believes in outer space, so you just control up to the point where you're in outer space. Like that's what I'm saying, man. Outer space is fantasy, bro.
Man, all right. So
that's what it is, though. That's like always fantasy, man. It's a bunch of sparkly shit,
man,
explosions.
This motherfucker.
Yeah,
it is a bunch of sparkly shit and explosions in an ever expanding
technically,
universe.
outer space is more like science fiction, but yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
what?
Okay, well now
you feeding into his meat?
No,
it's not science fiction. It's science fact. That's actually
it's science fact.
It's science, actually.
No,
it's just science. It's not science. It doesn't need another word. It's just science.
Look, man, Kyrie Irving said the Earth was flat, and now he's having an MVP season. So what I'm gonna tell you is, don't trip on me when I said space is fake, and then y'all see my glow up. You know what I mean? Like, don't be mad when you see it in go billboards. And I'm telling y'all, space ain't real, man.
B.O.B. also said
real.
that the Earth is flat. He ain't released a fucking decent song in like a decade. Like,
Well, he had Nothing on You. That's timeless. Beautiful girl. He made Bruno Mars. He made Bruno
He
Mars.
did make Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars
without
killing
B.O.B.,
it.
there would not be a Bruno Mars. He did
man.
drop
Bruno's
that.
out there.
That was dope.
Yeah. Outer space is fake.
Fuck that shit. Anyway, so like, you know, and it's crazy, like reading it, like you really do, like you said, like you're reading it and you're just in it. Like as you're like reading the words, it's the images are in your head and like you're just going. And it's kind of like you ever be driving and like you're listening to music or you're thinking about something or whatever, and like you're not even realizing like you're driving, you know what I mean, per se. You're still paying attention to the road, but like you're not actively like looking at everything. It's kind of like that when you're reading it. It's like you're reading, but you're not actively like looking at each individual word. You're just in this world like as it's happening, and it's fucking like that's an extremely difficult skill as a writer. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you figure, look at how many people write on a regular basis. Look at tweets. Like people who don't have a grasp of the of the English language.
Now tweets, yeah, that's the worst grammar that you'll ever see, and I'm definitely a person who does terrible grammar.
I think that's why I'm terrible at Twitter. I just can't.
Oh,
I can't.
You write excerpts. You're not
I
writing.
just-
You're not
I
writing.
These
can't.
epic fantasies, like 1,000 pages.
I
and
can't
shit
allow
like that. You
myself
can't
to
do
like
140 tweets.
break grammatical rules to fit into a tweet. I don't know.
You have a passage you want to read up? You got a little queued up, a little section.
I don't have anything queued up.
You want to flip a couple pages while me and Ed distract the audience
Okay, you just
with banter on the side?
Yeah, about how space isn't real, because I keep going on this, like, because you tried to move past that, like, but I feel like we're coming closer.
Man, I
to,
keep trying to forget that shit, and people keep bringing it up, man.
because
Every
this
time.
makes sense, man. You can't just leave Earth, go to a fantasy world, and come the fuck back, and I'm supposed to just accept that.
Go to fantasy. Where do you think they go? They just disappear.
I don't know where the fuck they go because I
don't.
don't see them.
Yo, like that motherfucker that queued up that motherfucking that rocket, man. That was dope. I was hoping he.
Whatever happened with that?
He said it's hard. It's actually pretty tough to do.
You think?
That's what his statement to the press was. This was a little harder than I thought.
Yo, most Americans cannot dunk a basketball that's 12 feet in the air. You think you just gonna leave the atmosphere?
Niggas gonna Wile E. Coyote into the air
With the Acme.
he had the Acme rocket
with a big ass stick of dynamite on the back.
That's exactly what it looked like too. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, bro?"
Can we, while she looks for a passage, can we talk about this blizzard of Hobbs?
Are you enjoying that?
This is really good.
It is, man.
It's so good. It stayed cold. These motherfuckers mailed this shit. It's still cold. It was wrapped in like 37 feet of, paper mache. They sent us, shout out to
bubble
Trolls.
wrap, man.
They know how to treat it. A motherfucker really get money when they got the big bubble. Yeah, they got their own. No,
they
got
had the
their own
Trogs tape.
But what about the big bubbles, fam? There's a lot of air and there's a lot of oxygen in this. This premium bubbles, fam.
Shout out to these motherfucking cans, right? Because like they're super light. Like these are, like
environmentally friendly.
There they is.
I
They
feel
green
like
as
I could
fuck,
get in an argument
man.
with wifey, crumble this up and bust her in the back of the head. Like, fuck you keep walking past the TV while I'm playing 2K?
She wouldn't even feel that shit.
But Trogs does not endorse that sort of behavior. It's not why they made the
And you don't endorse that sort of behavior either.
Why can't I throw a lightweight can? You ain't been in a real relationship till somebody threw some shit across the room. Tell me you ain't never thrown some shit across the room.
Fluffy shit that you
ain't never thrown. That's why your shit paperback now, because you got tired of you throwing them hardback ass books.
No, I'm not the one throwing things.
A heavy hand, the thickest and the fattest book she can find.
Whole library, all just in disarray. You've been throwing shit at that.
I mean, I don't know. Would you disagree though that that's not the right approach?
Nah, I think you should be able to. I think once a week, successful couples throw things at each other.
Oh, wow.
All right, get it out in the vicinity.
Yeah, I mean, think about when you was like at your cousin's house when you was little, and his mom would throw some shit across the room. You knew that mother loved her son. She was,
God damn it,
through the fucking telephone.
She loved that telephone too, because telephones wasn't a motherfucking thing that came easy those days. Like, especially the rotary dips and shit. Like,
see, I don't think they was throwing the rotary just because you had to dismount the rotary shits. You had to have Hulk strength to get them off the wall. As soon as cordless phones came out, they had that thick ass antenna too. You could fling that. We do not endorse child abuse.
Not at all, in the slightest. You got something queued up?
Yeah, I'll just read this quick passage. So, just a little background. The character that this is about, she's someone. She's not one of the main characters, but she's a pretty important character that shows. This is the second book. She shows up in the second book, and then she's actually in the third and fourth as well.
She's a side chick.
She's a side chick, yeah.
Nice.
And she's actually she's kind of she's like a she's got like
not play her spot.
No, so
position.
So she's
side chick.
No, she's not a side chick like
potatoes.
that. She's not a side chick like that. She's not a
side chick like that.
She's a fancy dish.
She's a fancy side chick. No, she uses earth magic, so this passage is kind of.
She was the
she
Arabian. Oh, she was the brown dude from Captain Blood. Earth.
Yeah.
Wind. Water.
I didn't even catch that. The black dude was Earth. That was.
Well, yeah. No, yeah. So she's
wild. That's low key.
She's a pretty cool character. All right. A dark haze stained her eyes until she saw nothing but obsidian shadows. Her knees ached until she could support herself no longer, and her head fell to the floor. There, forehead pressed into dirt and blood, she stayed, as if in supplication. Nala did not know how long she slept. When the darkness lifted and her vision cleared, she rolled to her side, rubbing at her eyes with tingling fingers. Dim orb light filtered through her curtained windows, telling her the hour was late. A sharp burn pierced her hand, and she drew it to her chest, cradling the sliced palm. Her hands, like most of her, were mud-covered, her skirt dirtied, and her tunic blackened. With a moan, Nala pushed against the towels with her injured hand until she was standing on wobbly legs. Bent in half, she hobbled to the bed. Their great mother had answered her call, but the toll had been a heavy one, and she ached as she had never done so before.
Now, for the listeners who couldn't follow, what she just basically read was, she got up. Like, that's all that's all that happened. She got up. She got up.
I could have saved some words, I guess.
No, I mean, but you were like there, yeah. I mean, as she was like all of that shit, you're like, oh fuck, you'd have been through some shit,
yeah. Like,
and how hard that
that's
motherfucker
why she's an author
just to get up, yeah. Like
my book would be 7 pages. Like, so dude came through and cut her, and he left, and she was like, I fucked up, and then she got up, got on the bed, and her mom was like, what happened? Like,
true, you had no issues getting to those 2,000 words on the essays in college, like.
Man,
and the professor didn't even know. Like,
you got on your parents' nerves. You had all the details.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, that is deep, man.
Yeah, so she got up.
Yeah. I think that's what I. That's what I heard.
So the magic she uses requires a blood sacrifice. So she sliced her hand to offer blood, and it mixed with the soil to because she's sort of the great mother is an earth goddess, so she's offering the earth goddess a blood sacrifice.
Parties. She used to go to cut parties and do that shit like back in the 80s.
Maybe is that
Blood
what
brothers
it is?
and shit.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, damn.
Oh, like it. You know how that,
I
you know
didn't
what I
see
mean?
it.
They cut the hands and then they all, and they make a pact and shit.
That's weird as fuck.
She made a blood pact with the earth.
That's just not cool, man.
That's wild.
I'm not cutting myself and then getting your blood. I'm not getting no man's blood inside of me.
I ain't getting anybody's blood inside of me, man or woman. That's just not a thing. That like you had your blood, I got my blood. You know what I mean? Like now, if I'm injured and I need that shit, that's cool. Like you know what I mean? I'll take a little bit, but I ain't about to
I might
just
have somebody else's blood inside of me now that I think about it.
You know
definitely
what? You
have some
definitely
blood
got somebody else's blood inside. That's crazy, man. You definitely. That's why you got that beard when you came out of the hospital. Shit. You got your blood from a bearded man. That's what when I came into visiting. This motherfucker had a full blown. I was like, hey, I didn't even realize this shit.
Ed's
that was
having-
probably Buzzy's blood.
Ed's
Did you
having
get
an identity
Ed?
crisis
Did
right
you
now.
get some blood, Buzzy?
Yo, that's crazy. And it was crazy. Like, I don't know where the fuck that blood is. Like, that blood could be doing different shit to me different days. Like, some days I can jump higher because nigga blood in my calves. Or if I got a nerd blood in my head, I can read better and
Nerd
shit.
blood.
But what if I got a homeless dude's blood? Like, because the niggas who donating blood, they might not be doing great financially.
It
Like,
goes along with the beard, a bearded homeless man.
God damn, yo.
Got a bearded homeless
Do
man.
I get? Do I have to? I need to get the type of insurance where I select the donor. Like, let me get your background.
Are there
fam.
like records at? Can you trace? Like, yeah.
Only record I see is I think I read I had a transfusion because it was a I did because wifey didn't want me to have it or something between her and my mom. I didn't know. I got another.
That's
motherfucker
crazy.
blood
Like, can
in
you
me.
like? Yeah, because I feel like what if you like? Do you have like rights now or some shit like that?
I
Can you
don't
just
know.
go to like the family party now? Because technically we blood now, bro.
Do I have a criminal defense?
You
feel me?
Truth. Like,
Am I not the father?
Yeah.
Yo, how
If
many
they pull
fathers
that-
is it?
Yo,
Shit.
Yo, imagine you about to have a little blood test and you just like, hey, no, let me get this quick transfusion off you, bruh,
I'm about to write
so
a
I
book
can mix these results.
about blood transfusions. Yo, I'm about to have blood in the what was it? Blood on the leaves. I'm about to do a whole different rendition of blood on the leaves. This is gonna be about a dude who just transfuses blood, just pass his blood out to everybody, and had them do criminal shit.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that shit, but we definitely got to figure out where your blood came from, and hopefully it's a rich motherfucker because now technically you blood. Now you and they family, so you can probably.
Do I have claims?
That's what I'm saying. You might be an heir now to some throne or some shit. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
he ain't donating blood though.
nah,
Rich people won't be donating blood. Like you
Maybe.
never hear
might.
celebrities on. They don't make Instagram videos talking about donate blood to this. They don't do that. They don't give away
they
their
don't
blood.
really. Yeah, you don't
It's
really
just,
see
it's just
them.
a motherfucker that work at Popeyes.
They probably take the blood. You know what I mean? They probably find like young fucking stem cell
It
type
might-
motherfuckers.
I
it
got
might be
cashier
like-
in my blood. And you're like,
It might be like a pastor. A lot of churches do blood drives. Maybe you've
but
got
the
some
pastor don't
religion
never
in you.
give the blood. He
No.
just be out there talking
Nah.
shit.
No, he just be-
Please come have a seat.
Yeah, he just be drinking
Get
the
poked.
blood.
Yeah.
Like, he drinks the blood of Jesus. That's
That
what
was
it. Yeah, I
always
mean, like
weird
he.
to me, like the blood and then eating the flesh. Like, you know what I mean, this shit is not right. Why is this?
Cannibals, man.
First of
that's
all,
that's cannibalism.
If Jesus, you know what I'm saying, Jesus is black, you know what I mean? So why we eating crackers? You know what I mean? Like, that shit don't make sense. That don't make sense.
But they are toasted though.
Like,
They're a little toasted.
Okay.
They are toasted
Okay,
crackers.
all
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
This
like
one
you
got
figure he was
tan
probably
and
like
shit,
a
'cause he was
dark,
out there in the he
he was
out
like
there
one
in
of
the
them
sun
dark
and shit.
khaki motherfuckers.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So
man.
yeah, it's probably that about fits.
Yeah.
But it's still weird that we eating a motherfucker though. Like,
Damn,
you know
I
what
should have
mean?
saved that, man. I should have wrote that down and done it on the HBO special. Like, fuck that, I gave that to y'all. That was another nigga blood making me say shit like that. God damn. I didn't expect to learn something about myself from this episode. I'm done.
So before we wrap up, the first and the second series, well, not the first and the second series, but folks can get into the third book and the fourth book because, they have they kind of veer off the path of the first two. And the first two are kind of like a prequel to the first.
Yeah,
two books.
yeah. I mean, you can definitely you can start the series with the third book, which is Queen of Stars and Shadows, and then the fourth book, which just came out, is Storms and Cinders. So yeah, if you don't have the dedication or time or interest in all four books, you can kind of pick it up at the third book, which is Queen of Stars and Shadows, and I give enough background that I think you can kind of start there. So.
Nice. So what's the you got the fifth book and then the noir series on
yeah
deck.
Yeah, so
Murder mystery.
hopefully when I've kind of taken like the month of December off, so hopefully with 2018 I get back at my laptop and kind of get moving with all of that. So
Nice. So you do really. I mean, you put a lot of research in there. Talk a little bit about that and how and any advice you would give to other writers in that regard, because I don't think people fully utilize the webs and a lot of the words, a lot of language that you use. I mean, a lot of the that goes into the book. It's a lot of research.
Yeah, I mean, every day I'm just amazed that even as recently as 20 years ago how writers did this. I mean, they'd have to go to a library and research, but now I just have to type in, like, my third book has a lot of Eastern mythology and religious kind of effects on it. So I researched, Buddhism and Taoism and just like the whole, Eastern religions are a lot about balance, and the character is kind of in a China-like country in the third book. So I researched a lot of that, and it's so easy because all I have to do is, I visited the same page on Google. How Google tracks how many times you've been to a page. I visited this one.
Oh, shit.
This one.
I didn't know that. I did
all this
not
technology,
fucking know
man.
that.
Women
Really?
be coming up with this technology, bro.
Yeah.
Just getting caught up in divorce proceedings.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Really? No. So when you search something, it'll say you visited this page. You don't
I don't
have
want
that?
that information.
I didn't know.
I
didn't know that.
information.
No, no, no.
Yeah. So anyway, I visited pages dozens of times just because I kept going back to learn more, read more, or things like that. So yeah, I think it's never been easier to research something than now. It's knowledge is just, it's so accessible and it's so ready, and take advantage of that. Even if you're not a writer, anyone just take advantage of that. So.
Yeah, they used to fucking, reading used to be a right that nobody had. Except for the rich motherfuckers. Books were prohibitively expensive. And, they even in the slavery, they wouldn't let us read. That's a power. Knowledge has always been a power, and we have that. We have it in the palm of our hands, and we're just watching fucking cat videos. So, yeah, get out there and Google
I think
some
that,
shit,
and that's what, kind of makes me happy, just that there are still people reading. And reading long books, my books are a commitment. They're, like I said, traditional epic fantasy, which, they're 400 or 500 page books. So it's a commitment, but I'm happy to say that I still do have readers, and people still they're picking up paperbacks. They're reading on their Kindles or their Nooks or any kind of e-reader, even on your iPad. You can get them, you can listen to them. That's my next step is hopefully making my books into audiobooks. A lot of people are into audiobooks now, commuting or whatever, just like in podcasts, they listen to them. So you can still read in so many forms and so many formats. And I think, unfortunately, Twitter, for example, or, social media, everything's so instant and so quick and so short. And it's not that it's dumbed down us, because I think that a lot of it's quickened our wit, and there's nothing wrong with
Donald
that.
Trump is the president, so they might have dumbed this down a little.
But yes, please keep reading. If I can say anything, please keep reading. And Pittsburgh in particular has an awesome literary community. There's a website called Litzberg.com. It's a really, really cool website that kind of highlights Pittsburgh writers across any kind of across all the genres of writing, fiction, nonfiction, short story, poetry. So yeah, please read, support and support your local authors. I know you guys are really big on supporting local businesses and entrepreneurs, and that's important. Support writers who you might not know their names. I'm still a mid-list author. A lot of people don't know my name, and so I'm always grateful when I get an email or I get somebody joining my newsletter. That we're just like, oh, I want to learn more about you, or visiting your website. I think that's awesome, and I'm excited that instead of following a celebrity on Twitter, they're following me, or instead of, it's exciting that people like what I do. So So thanks, fans. I guess that's
You should write people's wedding vows for them. You should like start a company where you write these super detailed wedding vows.
I think you all witnessed the engagement. I might not be good in the romance.
You don't have to say them. You write them out, and then I don't think you can sword fight either, but you can write a good ass sword fight.
I don't know. I think I can sword fight.
I don't think you can sword fight. I think you
definitely better
underselling
at sword fighting than getting engaged, man. That definitely is a motherfucker. She gave me the friend cheek kiss, the fucking side hug. I got a side hug and a friend cheek kiss.
There,
you should blame this guy for that. I'm pointing
she
at
was
Ed.
mad at me when that happened. But I was told to distract her. The only way I know how to distract someone is to piss them off.
Motherfuckers came out afterwards and was like, congratulations. Did she say yes? I'm like, I have no fucking idea.
Now all in words, you couldn't put 3 letters together?
Yeah, I mean, of all of them.
Tell you, man,
she put more than 3. She put way more than 3 letters together. She said, come on, get up.
I didn't say that.
She was like, come on, get up.
You actually did.
I said that?
You gave me the like, we got a video
was ready
there.
to get out of there.
You just gotta like gave me the all right, get the fuck out.
I might have done that. I don't remember.
So all right, so you're not gonna transition into acting. We know this.
No.
So I'm telling you, man, it's be a good business if you could write people's wedding vows for them, because the detail you have, like, I want to listen to this.
Yeah, hit me up, catbruno.com.
And get to them
audio
audiobooks, because that detail that you have with an audiobook, like you could do commercials with Beats by Dre's. I'll listen to a fucking audiobook and some Beats by Dre's if I could just hear the word obsidian thrown in. Where the fuck did that come from?
Could have just said Black Rock, but
no.
She had to throw a Googleable in that bitch.
So let the people know where they can find you.
So my website is catbruno.com. Twitter, Instagram, I'm xcatbrunox. Facebook, catbruno author. And then Amazon, you can just Google me on Amazon. That's where most of my books are available, Cat Bruno. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. Like, yeah, I'd say my books are easiest to find on Amazon. But all the links are on my website as well. And I also have really, and I didn't bring this, and I almost wore it, and I should have. I have really cool T-shirts for people that like graphic T-shirts. My cover artist, who I can take no credit for, he's an amazing guy, Simon Vilev. He's a Bulgarian guy, which is awesome. So he designs all of my book covers, and the 4th book cover, we went a little different direction, and I'm sorry I don't have that. We'll link to it hopefully, but it is awesome. I was so blown away with the cover that he drew for me, and it's different than the other 3, but it's beautiful and it's striking, and it fits the character so divinely and so intricately. And this is a man who's never read my books. He's just kind of, we talk and I tell him what I want, and he knows the characters. He knows the characters visually just because he's created them all for me. And he just nailed this 4th book cover so much that I got T-shirts made of it, and I love them. They're awesome. So, yeah, if you like superheroes and graphic T-shirts, check out my website. The T-shirts are there.
All right, Dave, let the people know where they can find us.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for some awesome ass services, you need some media, you got an event or anything like that, check out epicastnetwork.com/services. Tell them that the Drinking Partner sent you, man. Like, get your podcast up, get your party up, get your event going, get some pictures. You know what I mean, like they do a lot of great shit, audio engineering and the media and all that. So shout out to Epicast, and tell them again, epicastnetwork.com/services. Tell them that the Drinking Partner sent you. If you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at Partnerspod.
Yeah, man, we want to thank Kat for coming out. We had a good time. Hope y'all stay together after this. I don't want to be the one who contributes.
No, I paused myself.
And to the dude who wrote that fan mail, I'm looking for you. Says they got to support it because that means his wife doing things. I'm looking for you, motherfucker. Writing that crazy shit to Cat. But as always, Drinking Partners is the crew, Epicast is the family, and we out of here.